if he's sort of already in the area, it's just a good tune-up race anyway. So, like, he may as well be there. But, yeah, it's interesting when you think about missing Amstel, I suppose, although that's what the reports say. Maybe it's just because he came second this year and he's like, oh, you know what, I don't care anymore. I've won it once. Why am I going and doing 2 warm-up races for Liège? Which I can understand because it's probably perhaps a bit too much.
Yeah, more risk as well, as always with every race day. But yeah, I think you're right with Catalonia. That's probably dropped as well. So we kind of agree with that. Tour Basque Country not happening. Of course, that's a race he hasn't won either. We also saw speculation whether he's going to go for the Giro again. What do you make of that? Of course, the Giro normally pays quite handsomely to get big names into the race. We saw that with Peter Sagan, with Froome, and I think Pogacar as well, an appearance fee. Yeah, for them, having the world champion at the race would obviously elevate the race again. We saw it in 2024. Yeah, what do you think?
I don't know, because I see reports saying that they're going to go with Del Toro again
Well, there we go.
for the Giro. I'm not sure if it would make sense for Pogacar to do the Giro. I don't think it works him doing the core classics, then the Ardennes into the Giro. I think we're going to get some month recovery and then into the Tour. And with the talk of him, wanting to, save his legs and not build up too much fatigue, doing another Grand Tour in the season just does not compete with that logic. So I would hang my hat on the peg of he's not going to do the Giro d'Italia, and that will instead go to Del Toro. And I think that makes sense because UAE have got so many good GC riders that sending their main man to 2 Grand Tours is just a bit unnecessary, I would say, considering that all the other big races we're already saying he's going to have done in the season so far. Why not give Del Toro another crack at the Giro, because he was very good this year?
No, yeah, for sure. You're right. Or maybe they swap it and Almeida goes there and Del Toro gets the Vuelta, you never know. So I think we both agree that no Giro d'Italia. Then we continue into kind of, is he going to the Copenhagen Sprint? Probably not. He's going to have that big gap then between probably end of Liège all the way to, you would assume, what is now renamed the Dauphiné is no more. It's this other thing, which is like, why, guys? It's the Tour Auvergne. I don't even know. But they renamed it. We used to have Criterium du Dauphiné. We used to have Dauphiné Libre, Criterium du Dauphiné, and now it's whatever this is. Why the name change, I'm not quite sure. But do you think he's going to go there, or is he going to go to the Tour de Suisse?
I think he would logically go to, I'm still calling it the Dauphiné. I think he'd logically still go to the Dauphiné, but if there is this thing of him wanting to win all the World Tour level races, then this would be a good opportunity for him to go to the Tour de Suisse and probably just pick that up relatively easily. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't go to the Tour de Suisse, to be honest with you. I think that both races are very good warm-up races, and he could honestly go with either of them. I don't think it matters that much. Yeah. Outside of maybe facing Jonas at the Dauphiné and getting a bit of a look in as to how you're matching up.
Just getting a punch in early.
Yeah, like this year. I think it wasn't just a jab, it was like it's a knockout already.
Yeah, true. That was pretty devastating.
It was. The writing was already on the wall before the tour even started this year.
Obviously, the tour a given, even though there were reports that, he's going to be missing the tour. Obviously, that's never going to be allowed, especially when you're the world champion and defending. If he does win, this would be his 5th win, and add him to that very illustrious group of riders who's won 5 in total. So maybe that could be a historic tour for the Slovenian after that. Or do you kind of see on his agenda there? Wait, isn't it a World Cup year? So they've shifted the Tour de France, I can't remember, a week or so, because of football, which, I mean, who cares about the football?
Yeah,
they should shift the World Cup for the tour.
Yeah, based on the tour. Yeah.
Put it in December like last time.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to think about us. Don't think about the priority sport that most people in the world watch. Anyway, what will Pogacar do post-tour? I think realistically it'll be quite similar to this year. And I think it's actually more convenient. He'll probably do Quebec, Montreal, and then just stick around because the World Champs is in Canada as well. So that just really helps out. And then I think it'll be European champs because those are in Slovenia next year. So I think he'll want to go and defend his European champ bands in his home nation. That just makes a lot of sense. And then it'll be Il Lombardia to try and break away from the joint record with him and Coppi into just a Pogacar, or would it be like 5 in a row? 6 in a row. I can't remember. It's so many in a row. And maybe there'll be a Trevade Vallecine or something as a warm-up race in the midst of that as well. I think it'll be fairly similar to this year. I don't see why they'd change that too much. Because what else would he do? Like Rennie Wide Tour, maybe, to try and pick up another one? I think the World Champs is just too important. Where Rennie Wide Tour ends on the 23rd of August, and then the Canadian races start on the 11th of September, so like 2 weeks later. It could be possible that he does the Renew Tour, I suppose, but I don't see why they'd really put on that extra fatigue post-tour when the World Champs is coming up.
Yeah, it definitely seems very manageable compared to what he's already done, what we've kind of outlined here. One thing I would ask then, what is missing from this? Obviously, the big red elephant in the room is the La Vuelta a España, which is starting in Monaco. So that was seen as like, please start our race, Pogacar, because obviously he's lives in Monaco. Maybe Carlos Sainz will start the race as well. Valtteri Bottas, they all live in Monaco. Yeah, the Vuelta, obviously, he hasn't been there since 2019. Do you see that as feasible with the Canadian races, with all these extra things?
Well, given that the Vuelta next year finishes on the 11th of September and the GP Quebec starts on the 11th of September, something tells me that those two don't work very well together. Yes, I get what you mean, though. It's starting in Monaco. They are desperately trying to get Pogacar on the start list, but it's sort of... I think the problem is mixing the Vuelta with the World Champs, because I think Pogacar really cares about World Championships. And so long as the World Champs course suits Pogacar, he will favour a optimal World Champ build-up, as opposed to a Vuelta a España into World Champs, because I just don't think those two work very well together. And I think that the next World Champs is like Montreal, and there's one in the Alps, and then I think the one after that, which is flat, but it's in the UAE. So who knows whether he might go there just because of the team that he's on. Even though I know it's national teams, but trade teams and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe 2028 you might see Pogacar go to the Vuelta, get it penciled in already. But I don't see it working out this year with the World Champs being in Canada and the Canadian races starting on the same date as the Vuelta finishing. I just don't see that working.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that is very logical reasoning as well. I think you should get Tour of Hongrie, just tick it off, and then it's over. Then that's it. We don't need to think about that race for Pogacar anymore. I don't think he's going to that. But imagine what that would do for Chinese cycling. That's what we want.